Every woman you talk to will test you. Some do it consciously, others without even realizing it. These aren't written exams, but silent evaluations that decide whether you're the kind of man she can respect or the one she forgets by morning. Most men fail these tests instantly. They get emotional, defensive, or desperate, and in doing so, reveal exactly what she's looking for: weakness. You see, attraction isn't just about looks or charm, it's about how you handle pressure. A woman might flirt, pull away, go cold, or challenge your confidence, not to be cruel, but to see what you're made of. Every move you make, every reaction you give, tells her who you are underneath the words. The men who crumble lose her interest. The men who stay composed make her obsessed. Today, I'm going to expose the 7 hidden tests women give that most men never even notice, so you can pass every single one with strength, calm, and complete control. Point 1, the test of silence: how you react when she pulls back. This is one of the most common and dangerous tests women give, and most men fail it instantly. Everything's going great. She's replying fast, laughing at your jokes, giving you attention. Then suddenly she goes cold. Replies slow down, energy drops, maybe she even disappears for a few days. Most men panic. They start double texting, over-explaining, asking if something's wrong. They think they're fixing the problem, but what they're really doing is failing the test. Because this isn't rejection, it's a test of emotional control. She wants to see if your confidence depends on her attention. Here's the truth: every woman instinctively tests a man's strength, not physical strength, but emotional stability. She wants to know, if she pulls back, will you crumble? Will you lose composure and start chasing? Or will you stay calm, confident, and grounded? Because if your confidence evaporates the moment she withdraws, it means it was never real. It was borrowed from her validation. That's why this test exists, to see if you're truly solid or just pretending to be. The right move is simple but rare. Do nothing. You don't chase, you don't question, you don't panic. You match her energy. If she's silent, you stay silent. You let her feel your absence, because when you don't react, you flip the power dynamic. Suddenly, she's the one wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Did he lose interest? Did I misjudge his feelings? That curiosity pulls her back stronger than any desperate text ever could. Remember, silence isn't an attack, it's a mirror. It reflects your emotional discipline. Most men fail this test because they crave reassurance, but the man who can stay calm in uncertainty shows true confidence. And women feel that. They may not say it, but they sense it deep in their instincts. So next time she goes quiet, understand this: it's not about her pulling away, it's about you holding your frame. The man who stays centered when things shift is the man she respects, craves, and eventually chases. Because silence doesn't test your patience, it tests your power. Pass it, and she'll never look at you the same again. Point 2, the test of jealousy: how you react when she mentions other men. This one separates the strong from the weak. You're talking to her, everything's flowing, and suddenly she drops a name. Maybe a male coworker, a friend, or some guy who texted her. She doesn't do it accidentally. She's watching you, she's studying your reaction. Does your tone change? Do your texts get shorter? Do you start asking questions? That's the moment she knows whether you're emotionally grounded or insecure. This is the jealousy test, and most men fail it miserably. Here's the truth: women mention other men not always because they like them, but because they want to see how you handle competition. Not to provoke you, but to understand if your confidence is real. If the mere idea of another man threatens you, she instantly feels less attraction. Why? Because the man who's truly confident doesn't compete. He doesn't panic. He knows his value is unique, and no other guy can replace it. The moment you get defensive or jealous, you communicate that you don't believe that. What most men do wrong is they react. They start comparing, they interrogate, or they try to outdo the guy she mentioned. That energy screams weakness. But the strong move is unshakable indifference. You stay relaxed, calm, even playful. You might smirk, change the subject, or give a light response like, "Cool, hope he's treating you with the same standards you get here." Confidence under pressure is magnetic because it shows control. Here's the psychological reason it works. Women test for dominance through emotional balance. When she sees that you don't flinch at the mention of another man, something shifts inside her. Instead of thinking, he's jealous, she thinks, why isn't he reacting? Does he have better options? Is he really that confident? That curiosity makes her want to prove her value to you. The test flips, and suddenly she's chasing your validation instead. So remember, when she mentions another guy, it's not always about him, it's about you. She's checking if you're solid enough to stand your ground, and the man who passes this test doesn't need to prove himself, argue, or compete. He simply knows who he is, and once she feels that, she can't help but respect and desire him even more. Point 3. The test of delayed response. How you handle the waiting game. This one happens every single day, and almost no man passes it. You text her. Maybe it's something funny or interesting, and instead of replying right away like she usually does, nothing. Minutes turn into hours. You see her active online, maybe even posting a story, but your message sits there, unread or ignored. That's when most men lose their cool. They overthink, they double text, they spiral. But what they don't realize is this isn't random. It's a calculated test of patience and power. She wants to see if your emotions are truly under your control. Here's the reality. Women delay their replies not always to play games, but to feel out your energy. She's testing whether you'll stay composed or crumble, because if a few hours of silence can shake your confidence, how will you handle real tension, real uncertainty, real challenges? It's not about the text, it's about your reaction. Most men fail because they start chasing digital validation. They stare at their phones, replay the conversation, and craft another message trying to fix it. That desperation leaks through, even if you think you're being subtle. The man who passes this test understands one thing. Time is his ally, not his enemy. When she delays her reply, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't wait by the screen. He moves. He goes to the gym, meets people, works on his goals, and stays productive. His attention remains his own. That kind of self-control radiates confidence. When she finally replies, she feels the difference. His tone hasn't changed, his energy hasn't dropped, and he's not punishing her or begging for attention. He's just unbothered. That's the kind of man women can't stop thinking about. Here's the psychology behind it. Humans crave what they can't control. When she sees you didn't chase her delay, she feels the imbalance. You're in control of yourself, and she's trying to figure you out. That's where attraction deepens. You've turned silence into power. So remember, the test of delayed response isn't about her phone. It's about your frame. Every time you choose calm over panic, control over reaction, you show her you're built different. And once a woman senses that, she knows she's dealing with a man she can't manipulate. Only admire. Point 4, the test of boundaries. How you react when she pushes limits. This one comes disguised as playfulness, but it's one of the deepest tests a woman will ever give you. She'll joke about something personal. She'll tease you a little too far. Maybe she'll cancel plans last minute to see how you react. Or she'll try to get away with something small, showing up late, ignoring a message, or saying something disrespectful masked as humor. Most men let it slide because they don't want to seem controlling or lose her. But here's the truth. When you let a woman cross your boundaries without consequence, you fail one of the most powerful tests there is. Women test boundaries because they need to know who they're dealing with. Not because they want to disrespect you, but because they want to feel your strength. If you're a man who folds under pressure, apologizes for everything, and allows her to get away with things that violate your respect, she can't trust you. Respect and attraction are inseparable. The moment she feels you won't stand up for yourself, her desire starts to die. You've become nice, but not respected. And without respect, attraction never survives. The right move is to stay calm, firm, and consistent. When she crosses a line, you don't explode, you don't lecture, you don't get emotional. You simply enforce your standard. Maybe it's through tone, silence, or subtle withdrawal of attention. You make it clear that you don't tolerate disrespect, but you do it with poise. That contrast, calmness mixed with certainty, is magnetic, because it tells her one thing. You're not afraid to lose her if it means keeping your self-respect. Here's the psychology behind it. Women feel emotionally safe with men who have boundaries. When you hold your ground, you communicate leadership and strength, not aggression, but stability. And that's what truly draws her in. She might test your boundaries again, but it won't be to disrespect you. It'll be to confirm your consistency. So remember this, when she pushes your limits, she's not trying to destroy attraction, she's trying to measure it. The man who stands firm earns her respect and her desire. The one who bends too easily loses both. Boundaries don't repel women, they attract the ones who are worth keeping. Point 5. The test of indifference, when she pretends not to care. This one is brutal because it attacks your ego. Everything seemed to be going great. You're getting along, there's chemistry, she's laughing at your jokes, replying fast, and then out of nowhere, she acts cold, detached. She starts talking like she doesn't care whether you text or not. Maybe she delays replies, keeps her tone flat, or gives you one-word answers. Most men take the bait. They panic, start overcompensating, sending longer texts, showering her with validation to win her back. But that's exactly what she's testing for, whether your confidence depends on her interest level. Understand this. Women test indifference because they want to feel your stability under emotional pressure. She wants to know, if she turns down her warmth, will you chase it like a drug, or will you remain calm, composed, and unaffected? A weak man feeds off her energy. A strong man generates his own. That's the difference. When she acts indifferent, she's not always losing interest. She's checking if you'll lose your balance. The moment you start trying harder to impress her, she knows she has emotional control. And that's when attraction dies. The more you chase, the more you show that her approval is your oxygen. But if you stay steady, if you continue living your life, responding with the same calm tone and not demanding reassurance, she starts to feel something powerful: respect. Here's the psychology. People instinctively value what remains scarce under pressure. When you stay emotionally cool while she acts distant, it creates an imbalance that draws her in. She starts asking herself, why doesn't he seem affected? Has he lost interest? Does he have options? Who is this man that I can't read? That uncertainty fuels her attraction far more than any compliment ever could. So when she acts cold, don't panic. Mirror her calm. Don't become distant out of ego, but don't chase out of fear either. Simply hold your frame and keep your focus on your world, because indifference is her way of asking, are you emotionally stronger than me? The man who answers that without saying a word, through presence, composure, and silence, is the man she can't stop thinking about. Point 6. The test of temptation, when she flirts just to see your control. This one is subtle, seductive, and dangerous. It's when she leans in close, touches your arm, compliments your body, or gives you that long, lingering look. Not because she's ready to give herself to you, but because she wants to see if you'll lose control. Women test through temptation to measure a man's discipline. They want to know if you can handle attraction without being ruled by it. The man who crumbles under lust fails instantly because it reveals that his emotions, his focus, and his power are controlled by desire, not by him. Understand this. A woman feels safe and intrigued around a man who can feel sexual tension and still remain calm. She doesn't want a man who turns into a boy the second she gives him attention. She wants to feel your confidence, not your hunger. So when she teases you, flirts harder, or throws out a suggestive comment, your job is not to take the bait. Your job is to hold the frame. You keep your tone slow, your body relaxed, your eye contact steady. You don't chase it. You let her energy build. Because real masculine energy doesn't react. It draws in. Here's where most men fail. They rush, they start complimenting her back, over-flirting, or escalating too soon. That tells her she owns you. It tells her your discipline disappears the moment she applies pressure. But the man who can feel that energy, stay composed, and even smirk through it, he's rare. He radiates control, and women crave control far more than confession. Psychologically, this test triggers a woman's instinct for safety and respect. A man who can manage temptation signals that he can handle life, pressure, chaos, emotion, without breaking. That's the kind of strength women want to surrender to. The man who fails this test gets categorized as fun but forgettable. The one who passes becomes the man she fantasizes about because he's unshakable in the storm she created. So when she tests you with temptation, understand what's really happening. She's not trying to seduce you. She's trying to see your power. If you can stay grounded in that moment, calm eyes, steady tone, no rush, she feels both desire and respect. And that combination, that's what makes her addicted. Point 7. The test of emotion. When she tries to trigger you. This is the final and hardest test, the one that exposes whether your masculinity is solid or fragile. It's when she says something that cuts a little deep, questions your confidence, challenges your ego, or disagrees with you just to see how you'll react. Maybe she mocks your opinion, questions your goals, or throws a small insult wrapped in sarcasm. Most men take the bait instantly. They get defensive, start arguing, raise their voice, or fire back to prove themselves. That's the moment she knows she owns your emotions. Because the man who reacts loses. The man who stays composed wins. Here's the truth. When a woman tests you emotionally, it's not because she wants to destroy your confidence. It's because she wants to feel it. She wants to know if you're the kind of man who can hold his ground when challenged. Not every test is about attraction. Some are about security. A woman wants to feel that your emotions aren't fragile, that your energy is stable even when she pushes against it. If a few sharp words can shake you, she can never fully trust your strength. The mistake most men make is thinking every disagreement is an attack. It's not. Sometimes she's provoking you to feel your emotional leadership. She wants to see if you can stay cool, keep your tone steady, and not lose your composure. Because when you stay calm in that chaos, she feels something powerful, safety. She realizes she can't control you, and paradoxically, that's when she starts respecting and desiring you more. Here's the psychology. Women subconsciously test emotional control because it mirrors confidence under pressure. When she sees you respond with patience, logic, and humor instead of anger, you separate yourself from every insecure man she's ever dealt with. You become the center in her emotional storm, and a woman will always be drawn to the man who remains calm while others would break. So remember, when she tries to trigger you, breathe. Don't defend, don't attack. Smile, stay grounded, and let her words bounce off your frame. Because the man who can master his emotions masters the interaction. And the moment she realizes she can't shake you, she stops testing you and starts craving you. Conclusion. Now you understand what most men never will. Women don't test you to annoy you. They test you to reveal you. Every silence, every tease, every delayed reply, every emotional spark is a mirror showing how strong your frame truly is. The average man fails because he takes these tests personally. He reacts, he argues, he over-explains. But the man who stays composed, who reads the situation instead of collapsing under it, becomes unforgettable. Because confidence isn't proven when things are easy. It's revealed when she pushes you and you don't flinch. Every test you just learned, silence, jealousy, delay, boundaries, indifference, temptation, and emotion, all lead to one truth. She's not looking for perfection, she's looking for power. Not power over her, but power over yourself. When you can master your emotions, your energy, and your focus, you stop being another man trying to impress her. You become the standard she measures all others against. So the next time a woman tests you, smile. Don't react, lead. Don't chase, observe. Because when you pass her hidden tests, something shifts. She stops testing to challenge you and starts testing to keep you. And that's when attraction turns into respect, and respect turns into obsession.